Hello, my friends! Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kris. This is Wizard Way. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are going to be reviewing / recapping Episode 5 of The Lord of the Rings of Power on Prime Video. And then in about an hour, probably sooner, based on them dropping the episodes a little early the last few times, when they drop Episode 6, we will then be syncing up together and watching it together. If you have a Prime account, you can watch with me. How this works is basically you bring it up on whatever alternate screen you've got. If you're watching me on your phone, that's great. Bring it up on your smart TV or what have you. And you'll want to queue up the show when episode 6 drops and just pause it. And I have a little timer down here. Little timer on the screen down here, so I will do a countdown and then we can both press start at the same time. That way, I'm basically watching it like I'm in the room with you. Kind of. But through the interwebs, because technology. You have a 9 a.m. meeting tomorrow. Oof. What time is it now for you, Melinda? Hey, thank you, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Hatred will be met with the banhammer. We don't need that. I'm too tired to deal with that. Sorry, anyone who's I'm sorry, guys, on TikTok. Okay, so if there's a message down there that's saying calligraphy, it lies. It lies. I'm sorry, I forgot to switch that out before I started this live. I forgot that that was an automatic setting, and I need to change it. But my next stream over on TikTok will be a calligraphy stream, so sorry, not this time. Oh wow, it's already 11 p.m. I mean, like, you could... You know, is your meeting in person or is it like a telecommute meeting? Because you could fudge that a little bit. You can join your meeting and just mute yourself, right? No, you probably can't. No, if you have to do a meeting that early and it's actually an in-person meeting, make sure you get sleep. You can always queue up this video. The evergreen video will be on YouTube tomorrow if you'd like to watch the episode tomorrow. If you want to do it with me, you still can, but don't feel obligated. You do not have to. Good morning. Good morning, Lord Bunnybone. Welcome, everybody. Oh, and Podwin's podcast is here too. Hi! Hi, guys. It's a video call, yes! You can sometimes just have a little bit more wiggle room with video calls. If you keep everything like queued up and ready on your desktop or laptop or wherever you're gonna be videoing in from, sometimes you can like manage to get up 5 minutes prior and still make it. You'll be tired, but you know, like, just toss on some clothes and go live. It's fine. I totally haven't done that. Never. I've never done that. I have. I totally have. Alright, so, welcome back, everybody. Let's go through a couple of the details from Episode 5 of The Rings of Power. I'm gonna switch the scene on over. I do have a Twitter thread. This time it's updated. I updated it prior to going live this time, so we're back on track. We'll go through some of the details from the last episode, and you guys can ask me any questions you've got, because that's why I'm here. Oh, thank you so much, Rat Spice Lord. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's not been easy the past few days. I had a full-blown breakdown a few days ago. Worst day I've had in a while. And I was just completely useless. Like, I did stuff, but it was like, I took a shower. I went outside and, like, enjoyed the heat. I had one full meal that day. And those tiny things were complete and utter triumphs for me, because when you're in the midst of just a huge, prolonged grief burst, it's really hard to take care of yourself. And I managed to take care of myself. So... I feel like I've done well. I've done well, all things considered. Hey, Wonder Woman! It's been so long since I've seen you! Hi, Wonder Woman! I don't even know what time it is in New Zealand, but thank you so much for popping in, even if you can't stay. I appreciate that. Okay, let's switch the scene on over so we can take a look at the Twitter thread. Let's do it. Okay, so just a note, if you are over here on TikTok, please head to the second link in the link tree in my bio. That will take you over to my YouTube channel, where we are looking at the actual Twitter thread. You won't be able to see this on TikTok, but over here on YouTube, you can. So please do that. I'm going to turn the music down just a tad. There we go. Just so y'all can hear me, and it's not too distracting. There we go. Okay, so welcome back to my master thread over on Twitter. This is the Twitter thread that is pinned to my profile. There's also a direct link to it in the link tree that's in my bio over on TikTok. So if you have any oh my gosh, I feel like I need to burp and it's not coming. Burp or sneeze or something. If you have any questions about little elvish, Numenorian, dwarvish details that are sprinkled throughout the TV show, The Rings of Power, I do have a master thread over on Twitter where I have decoded as much as I can. Some things I just haven't been able to see clearly enough, and if you are curious about song lyrics, I'm not covering them yet. This is because typically they will put out actual official lyrics for most of the songs later. And so instead of like listening to Quenya over and over and over again, which I don't personally speak Quenya, I speak Sindarin. So instead of destroying my brain trying to suss out the lyrics for all of the choral bits in every song for the Rings of Power, I'm just gonna let them put out their official lyrics and we'll go from there. A lot of times they will put out lyrics without putting a translation to the lyrics, and so that's when me and my friends over on Discord who know Quenya will go in and we will decode everything, and I will then add it to my master thread. So right now we're just going episode by episode in the Twitter thread, and let's continue to do that. So, starting at the beginning of episode 5. One of the main things that I did get some questions on is, oh my gosh, we have maps. Where are the Harfoots? So we got our first indication of where the Harfoots actually have been for the first few episodes and where they are migrating to in this particular episode, in episode 5. So the Harfoot migration begins, we get this beautiful picture here. And there are a couple things that that tell us where this is in the larger map of Middle-earth, even though this is the second age and not the third age. There are a couple landmarks or things that have been named in Elvish, and so their names don't typically change. So Rovanion is one of those things. Rovanion is the region that includes Greenwood the Great. So this is sort of the southern portion of the forest. Like, the forest would be right in this area and then heading up from there. Limelight is actually on almost every map of Middle-earth, along with, you can't see the entire name, but this is the Anduin. This is the Great River. So those are some landmarks that you should be able to find on any map of Middle-earth, and that is why I brought up a map of Middle-earth. So this is Third Age Middle-earth, but you can see Limelight is right here, and the Anduin goes down here. So this little curve here is where Limelight meets the Anduin, is where we were looking in the other picture. So the Brown Lands is what this area here, sort of underneath the Greenwood is. It's called the Brown Lands, at least that's what it's called later on in the Third Age. So they're not brown yet. But our Harfoots are basically coming from the lower levels of Greenwood the Great, or what is called Erngallen, which just means Greenwood. It's Sindarin for Greenwood. For a second there, they almost had me going there because I was like, oh my gosh, like they're coming from Dol Guldur. And I was like, sauce! But Dol Guldur doesn't exist yet, not in the Second Age when the TV show is happening. So, I did worry that they were coming from Dol Guldur, which is right here on, like, the southwestern portion of Greenwood. I thought it would be really funny if they were coming from that particular area, because now everything is fine there, but once you hit the Third Age, that's where the Witch King is. Like, the necromancer, and, you know, Sauron himself takes up residence there for a while. Like, it ends up being sort of the darkest point of Greenwood. And from there, this sickness and darkness sort of spreads out throughout the wood. Starting around, I think it's 1050 of the Third Age, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah, things get bad there. But, so this lower portion here is where our Harfoots are coming from. And so we get this picture of them coming down here, past the Limelight area, down through Weedbrook, and then the picture continues southward into a place that they, on their map, is called the Underclips. This area is actually called Emmenmuil, which you might remember from John Rhys Davis's his comment of, you know, a labyrinth of razor-sharp rocks, and after that, it gets even better. Stinking marshlands, far as the eyes can see, right? This is stuff that we remember from Fellowship of the Ring. So the Underclips is actually Emmenmuil. That's this really mountainous, ridgy area here. At the very top of Emmenmuil, there is a pass, and that's why the dotted line goes through there. And then the Grey Marshes here are later known as the Dead Marshes. It's just that the battle that happened in this entire big plain here hasn't happened yet. It happens at the end of the Second Age, leading into the Third Age. So the Grey Marshes, we see our Harfoot friends traveling through the marshes and trying to push their cart through this area, but that ends up being the Dead Marshes later on. We just haven't filled the marshes with bodies yet. That hasn't happened yet. How was my week? I know, it's just this episode, and then, you know, episode 7, and then episode 8 is the finale. Like, only 2 more weeks. It's astonishing. Oh, thanks for sending the good vibes. I really appreciate that, Melinda. Oh my gosh, yeah, the Harfoot song is so sweet. The whole call to me, lands far away. Yeah. I think it's called This Wandering Day. I think that's the official title of the song. And I love that Megan Richards sang it herself. That made me so happy. She has a great voice. Yeah, grieving, man. Oh no, your sister passed 8 years ago. It feels like yesterday. No, I totally understand. Tomorrow will be the 3-year death anniversary for my partner. And she's the whole reason that I do what I do here. Ah, that's so exciting, Comic! Comic over on TikTok is getting a tattoo that I translated for them. They're getting it in 12 days. That's so exciting! So before the end of Rings of Power, even. Definitely, if you're still here in the chat, definitely let me know when you get it done. Send me some pictures to the email address that we did the translation through. I will see it. I promise I will see it. I'm really behind on my messages. I only started diving into translations again today. And I'll probably need at least tomorrow off, but after that I'll be trying to pick away, because I think I have a good 40-45 messages that are clogging up my inbox for translations. Some of them might be repeats, because I do tell people on the forum, feel free to send me another message if I don't respond within a week. And I haven't responded in like 3 weeks. It's bad. I'm getting better, I promise. But yeah, so here is Emmenmuil down here, and then this area, this sort of bloop in the river, is where we have the Falls of Rauros. This is where you have the Argonath later on. Of course, those things don't really exist yet. They probably don't even call them Rauros at this point. Just like they don't call it Emmenmuil. But yeah. So our Harfoots sort of go through this upper portion of Emmenmuil, and then across the area that we know as the Dead Marshes. But then they go past the Dagorlad and they keep moving east. So as far as where the Harfoots are and where they are going, they started at like the southeastern border of Greenwood the Great, and they went down along the river through Emmenmuil across what later becomes the Dead Marshes, and then they're going past the Dagorlad around the upper mountains of Mordor, which is just the Southlands right now. So hopefully that clears that up for anybody who is curious. Poppy's the best. Longer second season, yeah, they will be making up the difference, for sure. Because we're only getting 8 episodes in this first season, it means that those 2 extra episodes will be either scattered throughout a couple different seasons in the next 4 seasons after this, or it'll just be added into one season. We'll see. But I'm sure they'll work it in. But we've been told that there are 50 episodes over 5 seasons. Whew. Yeah, I don't know what to do in between seasons. I'm going to be making all the videos that I was trying to make when the episodes were actually airing. There are a lot of little details for me to enjoy. Basically, all of the information that I've been putting into these live streams where I review the episodes, I'm going to be compiling that into a bunch of little videos, and I'll make a playlist over on my TikTok. I'll be posting them over on YouTube, too. I need to get into posting things as YouTube shorts. So I'll be doing that, I promise. So the next bit is something that I noticed it on and off, but before I did my big decoding of the Númenórean alphabet, which I now have a cheat sheet for. So I made this. This is my cheat sheet for the Númenórean alphabet. Calligraphy, yay! So before I did this, I wasn't really able to decode any of the bits that were on costuming, but I went back and got a bunch of different pictures from previous episodes, along with a picture of Halbrand from episode 5, and I decoded the writing that is on all of the costumes for people like the courtiers, the guildsmen people, and Halbrand himself once he gets his guild crest. So all of them have writing on their sashes, and I was like, what the heck does it say? Because it obviously says the same thing, because I could recognize that the symbols were identical. And so I looked it up, and basically all it says is the strength of men. And I'm like, that's kind of weirdly cultish in a way, I think. The strength of men. The strength of men for the courtiers, the strength of men for the guildsmen. Halbrand, the strength of men. I mean, like, I know I'm wearing something that says love yourself in English on my shirt, but imagine it just saying the strength of men. Like, you have to be pretty nationalistic, I guess, you know. Some weird racial pride going on to be like, the strength of men. And it's literally plastered on every garment in your city. Like, why? I don't understand it, but that is indeed what it says. It just says the strength of men. Different bits and pieces. It's on the back here. Same thing with the sash of the courtier. And then this is Halbrand in episode 5. Strength of men, the strength of men. Murmur, 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 murmur. It just repeats. It's just the strength of men. Everywhere. And I'm like, alright. I thought they would do something like at least the strength of the Edain, because it's not all men. And I know that that's such a... Oh gosh, I said some trigger word on TikTok and now I'm gonna get all sorts of weirdos in my chat. It happens, I swear. But when I say not all men in this case, what I mean is that the Edain are 3 specific houses of mortal men. And the Númenóreans are all descended from those 3 houses. And house is used relatively loosely. It's not that all the Númenóreans are part of 3 families that have just been interbred the entire time. That's not what I mean. But there are 3 houses with a bunch of people non-related in the house. And so these 3 clans, if you will, of mortal men, they backed the elves in the First Age, and Elrond's twin brother Elros decided to become mortal and basically became the king of the Númenóreans, which were these 3 clans of Edain. And they were gifted Númenor as, like, Thanks for helping us in battle. Y'all are pretty cool. You can't come to Valinor, but here's an island that's really close. Tantalizingly close. Like, that won't bite us in the ass later on. So I thought it was strange that they did the strength of men rather than the strength of the Edain, because the Númenóreans are specifically the Edain, not just all men. This is why they use the term lowman. They keep calling Halbrand a lowman, because he is a lower-ranking man. He's not of the Edain, he's of the Southland, so he's just a lowman. And I'm like, that's a rude. But in any case, everything says the strength of men, which I thought was kind of silly. The only exception that I found was this sash that is hanging down from Eärion's uniform when she finally joins the guild. I think she's in the Builders Guild. And so her sash, I rotated it, and it says, starting upon our, and then it's a word that starts with Fi. So it's probably first, starting upon our first something. It's not super clear, but at the very least, I did transliterate that. It might be a sash that is just given to everyone who's a new member of a guild, so it might be something that marks her as a newbie. Noobs. We did have a couple instances, only 2 instances of actual Elvish in episode 5, so let's hit those, and then we're pretty much done. There's just not very much going. Is it a green velvet couch? No. Hey, Tiny, thank you. Yeah, Dee Dee, I do not have a green velvet couch, unfortunately. My bedspread there is tie-dye. And my chair is green. My chair is green. It's a Herman Miller chair. And of course I don't sit in it properly to actually get the full benefit of the whole, you know, it's made to cushion your spine. And I'm like, it is, but I'm autistic and I never sit like a normal human. Do I think that Adar is Maeglin? From Gondolin/Nargothrond. I think it's a possibility, but I think it's still slim chance. It's still a slim chance. There are some things that would point to that I think are really fun. Things like, you know, his left hand being the one that's injured and in a glove, right? Maeglin's left hand was basically stabbed. He tried to put his hand on Eärendil, which is Elrond's father, when he was a baby. He tried to attack Eärendil as a kid. And Eärendil bit him, number 1. And then basically his hand got stabbed by Eärendil's father, Tor. So, you know, like you do. So his left hand was injured. The other person that it could be based on just the left hand thing, it could be Maglor, but I think that's even slimmer a possibility. I think Maeglin, if it is one of the Noldor that were named in the first age, Maeglin is the only one that's reasonable, in my opinion. Because he was tossed off of a tower and hit the mountainside 3 times on his way down, which actually does help break your fall. But I'm sure his body was horrifically broken in the process, but no one ever, like, sees his remains. He just falls into the fire. He hits the mountainside 3 times and falls into the flames and shadow. And everyone just sort of presumes that he's dead. But, you know, Gondolin is being taken over by the dark forces at that point. Maybe there's an orc down there and an orc just, like, broke his fall. You know, at the end. So could he have survived and then be taken by Sauron and the other dark forces and twisted and made into this weird Adar character? Yes. It's possible. It's not completely lore-breaking. It's a long shot, but it is possible. So, hope that answers your question. I think it's a possibility, but I don't know if the Tolkien estate did end up, you know, case by case, giving them the rights to use Maeglin in this particular way. It's a possibility. They have to seek case by case permission from the Tolkien estate whenever they take stuff from the Silmarillion or Unfinished Tales. So this would be one of those cases. Alright, back to the Quenya. Yeah, you can totally just stalk me over on TikTok, for sure. Yes, they did announce an improvement to YouTube Shorts. They are also going to start doing things where we can monetize even if we haven't met the watch time minimums on YouTube, which is also helpful, because right now that's what I'm struggling on, is trying to get watch time. So I just need a few YouTube Shorts to do really, really, really well over the course of 90 days, and then I can monetize those too, which would be really neat. Excuse me. Would be cool if the strength of men was an identifier for the anti-elf group. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't seem to be. It could be, but I mean, you know, the courtiers were not all against Muriel. Several of them were raising their hands in support at the end of the last episode. So, we shall see. But it could end up being like a slogan that's just used for the Kingsmen later on. We'll see if that's the way it's utilized. I'm keeping my eyes open. If I notice that starts being a thing where it's only used on people who back the Kingsmen, I'll definitely make a note of that. Yeah, caught by a Balrog. I mean, he could have been. That would have seared the flesh a bit, I think. But that would explain all the burns on his face, right? Am I right? It's a possibility. Alright, back to the Quenya. So again, episode 5 only had 2 instances of Quenya being spoken. One was when Elendil and Galadriel are talking about the soldiers' training in Numenor. Because she's just like, dude, like, they're stepping so heavily, they're like the giants from the Northlands. The North Wastes. And Elendil's like, okay, so, what are you actually trying to say? And Galadriel says they are untested against this foe. Which is Ente Altiastaina. Yeah, Ente Altiastaina Anat Kotosin. Please forgive me if my Quenya is not perfect. It's not my forte. To which Elendil responds, Canasta I elda adua peanta notima patienen. Which is, perhaps the elf would be willing to offer some instructions. And I put this in brackets, but it's specifically footwork instructions when you do the translation. Shout out to Roandil and Orondil over on Discord for helping me with the Quenya. Again, it is not my forte, and they have been absolutely invaluable. But that is the little exchange that they have in Quenya, and then Galadriel takes up a sword and has her little combat moment, where we see her smile again. It's kind of rare. Hi, Grey. And my cat has arrived. Hi, Grey. Alright. There we go. Just put that aside. You can stay, Grey. So other than that small little exchange, Galadriel then has a lot of fun whooping their asses. Which I very much enjoyed. I think it was great to have a bit of a playful fight scene for once. And just to show that that's Galadriel in her element. She's a fighter in this stage of her existence, and so she's most at home when she has a blade in her hand, and I thought that was actually lore accurate and good to see. The other bit in Quenya is when the stranger, after the stranger pounds the ground and burns his hand, saving our Harfoot friends, he then has all of these burns on his left hand. He puts it, his right hand, and he puts that into a pool of water and starts murmuring all of these strange spells. And it's obviously Quenya, but it's hard to make out sometimes what they're saying in Quenya when they're not really enunciating. So in this case, it was Envignataina Nanye, Ternicalla, Lisalyanen, Turia, Hadani Kalla, Envignata. You see Envignata an awful lot, and Kalla is light, Envignata is like renew. So he's basically summoning light in order to renew, strengthen, cure him of what he just did to himself. But of course, he sort of overdoes it. He doesn't know his strength. Poor little Nori gets caught in the crossfire, and she's now frightened of the stranger, which, you know, can't really blame her. He did warn her. He said that he is peril, right? I peril. And she's like, no, you're not a peril, you're good. You're good because you're here to help. And he is there to help, but he doesn't understand his own powers at this point, so he is not always doing good. Sometimes he accidentally does some harm, and this was one of those cases. So that's it for the Quenya in the episode. There really wasn't much. I did take an extra note just because Gil-galad goes on about the Song of the Roots of Hithaeglir. This is a non-canonical story/song that has been perpetuated through the population. We don't know where it got started. We don't know how long it's been around. But Elrond basically says that he considers it apocryphal. That it is largely considered apocryphal. The meaning behind that word, in case you're not familiar with that word, it means that something is rumored to be true. It's sort of generally considered to be true, but there's zero factual evidence to back it up. There's, like, no evidence that it's true. And so Elrond is very quick to dismiss this. He's just like, it's not true, it's apocryphal. Like, why are we even focusing on this? But Gil-galad is insistent, and he says, you know, recount it, Elrond Perthel. And he says this almost insultingly, but I did want to at least make note that Hithaeglir is the name of the Misty Mountains. It breaks down, it's a combination of Heath, which is misty, or mist, and Aeglir is a line of peaks. So Hithaeglir is a misty line of peaks. So it's the entire mountain range. And then Perthel is almost used like a surname for Elrond, but it just means half-elf. Per is a prefix that we put onto things to make them half something. Perianath. Perianath is the Elvish word for the halflings. So half is per. So Perthel is per plus Evel, and Evel is elf. So Perthel is half-elf. And that's it. That's all the Elvish. There wasn't much. I did see some Númenórean writing in the background when the soldiers are having their fight. You see sort of a crowd that's laughing as the people carry on trying to beat Galadriel, and there's some writing etched into the wall behind them, but it's faint enough that, like, I can only make out a couple characters and not enough to spell out actual words. So unfortunately, I wasn't really able to do much with that. But that's about it. Holy cow, episode 6 is already live? Should we just get started? Let's get started. I don't want to wait another 25 minutes, so yeah, let's change up the scene here, and we'll say goodbye to our TikTok friends and get started on the episode since it's live. I don't feel like waiting this time. Usually I like to, but I'm tired. Let's do the episode, alright? We're gonna switch the scene. Okay, so I'm going to bid you adieu. Yes, that's my kitty. That's Gray. Hi, Gray. Nothing but cat butt. Is that all they get out of you, Gray? Just cat butt? Yeah, he doesn't want to give you anything else. Okay, so thank you guys for following over on TikTok. I know this was a bit shorter than typical. My next stream over on TikTok will be a calligraphy stream, so in case you saw that and you were very confused, next stream will be calligraphy. So we'll do another calligraphy stream soon. If not tomorrow, then probably the next day. Certainly over this weekend, I'll do at least one calligraphy stream. So I will see you guys for that. If you would like to watch episode 6 of The Rings of Power with me right now, head on over to my YouTube channel, and we will sync up so that everyone makes sure that the episode is live for you, and then we can do a countdown and start the episode at the same time. So if you'd like to do that, please head over to my YouTube channel, and we will do that. But take care, guys. I'll see you guys on TikTok over the next couple days. Bye! Okay. that is done. Yeah, get over here, TikTok friends. Get over here. All right. Okay. One less thing to worry about. All right. All right. We can close that down now. All right. I've got the timer ready to go. Let's refresh the Rings of Power page. Episode 6, Udun. Yes. Okay, so straight off the bat, the title of the episode is Udun. Udun is the Sindarin word for hell. You might recall that from when Gandalf is yelling at the Balrog in the first movie. He says, you know, "The darkness will not avail you, flame of Udun." Udun is hell, basically. It's the elvish equivalent of hell. Udun was one of the Dark Lord's fortresses, but like Morgoth back in the day, Udun was a deep underground haven for everything darkness. Everything dark and evil. Hi, Gray. Alright, I'm gonna cue this up really quickly. Okay. 'Tis queued up. Alright, we're going to kick off the music. And I'm gonna wait to make sure that you guys are ready. But I am ready when you are, so everyone please refresh your pages. Episode 6 should be live now, and we are going to get started. Yeah, I mean, Bunnybone, you're not wrong that Nori was frozen by her own curiosity. Hey, Ryjam, thank you for being here. What's up? I'm super behind on chat, I apologize, but hi! You're of the opinion that Gil-galad and Celebrimbor planned everything in the Elf Lord only meeting from the first episode. Probably. I would not put that past them. Gil-galad is a bit conniving, and I'm actually okay with that. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, clutching the pearls, because Gil-galad is only referred to in the highest and most flattering of terms, in most cases. But we never get to see him as an actual character. He's not really given too much development. And he certainly feels a lot of pressure with his job. So I'm actually okay seeing him being a little more conniving and more just political, for lack of a better word. The guy's a politician. We are watching episode 6, correct. Everyone's ready. Can we do a watch party on the latest episode? I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised. They seem to have been making it closer and closer to when they actually drop the episode. But, because I'm not doing this on Twitch, I won't be able to do an actual watch party. We can just sync up with the timer here, and that's the best we can do. The reason behind that is Twitch is owned by Amazon, so that's why they're able to do watch parties directly through Twitch, is because they're owned by the same parent company. So unfortunately, that is the case. But everybody queued up. Let's go. I'm gonna take a quick drink and we will get started. All right, episode 6, Udun, aka Hell. So I think some bad shit's gonna happen, and I'm really ready for it. All right, let's bring up that stopwatch again. Okay, here we go. So let's do a countdown from 5. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Here we go. All right, here's our recap. Hey, Tempest, join in the fun. Is black speech in use at this point? Yes, we have heard the orcs use black speech before. Several times. Oh, is the episode shorter? It is shorter. It's only 108. Darn. They're going to be putting a lot in this episode, though. We've got a lot of battle stuff happening. Oh man, the sword is so cool. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so last we left our protagonist down in Tirharad, or Ostirith. I think it's Ostirith. Down in the Southlands, they were like, oh, you know, like, we're gonna be buried under this tower, and then they were like, wait a second. And they sort of looked up at the tower, and that's all we saw. So I'm thinking they will probably do something with the tower. I could be wrong. But that's sort of the impression they were giving, is that they're going to set some sort of trap to hopefully bury the baddies under the tower rubble. I actually really like the opening. It's grown on me. It's grown on me over time. Using the sound plates to vibrate the particles into specific patterns. Shout out Lindsay Weber. I met her. I also briefly met Patrick McKay. Very kind people and all incredibly passionate about the source material, which is super important. All right, let's go. Episode 6, Udun, let's do it. Hi, Gray. You gonna say hello? Come here. Nope, okay. He's like, absolutely not. No kitty time. All right, there's Adar's glove. Yeah, you feel that, Earth. I shouldn't be feeling some kind of way. Look at those nails. Did he just plant seeds? Rather tenderly? Oh, new life, he says. In defiance of death. He basically said, like, against death. I do have subtitles activated. I know bits and pieces of Quenya, but it's really not my forte. Those words I actually recognized. So, yeah. Ooh, look at those trilled R's. Yes. Sorry, I get so passionate about people trilling their R's for Elvish. I find it so difficult personally that I'm just always impressed. He was just talking about 2 mountain ranges in what's later known as Mordor. Oh gosh, look at Waldrick. He's like... sowing the seeds of destruction. It's so interesting that there's basically an elf who is treating the orcs as brothers. I know, those R's. I'm not sure what Nampat means. Uruk is just a way of saying orc. It's Urch in Sindrin, and I think it's Uruk in Quenya. Does Adar have a fresh wound on his temple? I didn't notice. He may. Gosh, Waldreg's right at the front there. I have to assume that Rowan is dead. We have to just sort of assume that Waldreg proved his loyalty. Yimbatul! Yes, we know that bit. That's from the One Ring speech. All of them. The whole to bring them all in the darkness bind them, right? That was fun. I'm like, Black speech, I actually know! I know, look at their cheapy battering ram. They're like, where is everyone? It's kind of sus. Gosh, we're gonna get right into the action here. Okay, like, looking at Adar, though, like, he's low-key attractive, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Yeah, riddle me this. Where's Sauron? Always interrupted. Dang it. He can smell him? I mean, like, a reindeer got that scent, you know what I mean? What do you think elves smell like? I'm thinking they smell kind of sweet. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, they definitely had a plan going in here. Shut the door. So trying to keep them confined in there and bring the tower down. That musky wood elf smell. Like mushrooms! Only the best. Only the finest mushrooms. Ooh, oh damn. Yeah, bye orcs on the mountainside. That was smart. I mean, seriously, you should have been doing that already, not just waiting out there to see if it worked or not. You should have had, like, one sentry just watching to make sure that it worked. But the rest of you should have been already fortifying your little village there, just on the assumption that it didn't work. Or fleeing on the assumption that it didn't work. I'm like, why you gotta watch the explosions happen? Bad guys, good guys don't look at explosions. They just walk slowly away as things blow up behind them, right? Oh, poor Isildur. With the horses. I love it. Hey, he's with Beric. That's all that matters, right? Yeah, see? Called it. He loves his horse. Horse is like, Ew, bro. Like, you had to double dip after the horse, though. Like, I don't know how clean the hay is that you're, feeding to your horses, but... Oh, it's cool to see Galadriel interacting with Isildur. Well put. She's like, why are you here? What's your rank? He's like, yeah, about that. Stable suite. Truth. Oh, they're gonna connect over the memory of Numenor. She's like, oh, of course, Isildur. Oh, sunrise on the ocean. Must be so pretty. A new necklace. I'm not sure. I'll take a closer look. Yeah, we can't quite see it. Chibi Isildur. What happened? Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to talk about it. That's one way of putting it. Yeah, weren't we told that that she drowned saving Isildur? Like she drowned in a river trying to save him? Which is just really sad. It's kind of ironic. Oh man, I'm gonna have so much Numenorian to get done there. I mean, it's just a map, so it's all locations, but at least the calligraphy's really clear. I'll have fun getting screenshots and writing in the names of everything on the maps there. Yeah, Tirharad is there. I saw Tirharad and Ostirith, I believe. I know, maps. Nosa! Too strong for your measly little tools. Can only be destroyed in the fiery chasm from whence it came, right? Oh, Theo wants to see, though. That's not gonna stop the orcs. I mean, you gotta know that. Hey, at least they're trying now. They're making an effort. He's a grower, not a smith, right? Oh. Put big rock over the top. Make them make new holes, right? Oh, he's being AoE'd. Poor guy's being AoE'd. You have to go in caverns. It's totally Helm's Deep the remix. I know, oh my gosh. Yeah, Aure un Tuluva. He's so cute. I wonder if that's, like, a specific quote. Man, that sounds like it was taken directly from the books. I could be wrong. The general trivia in the comment bits is there are some works of the enemy that cannot be unmade by simple smithcraft, especially with the forges available in a human village like Tirharad. Extended dance version. Hey, General Grievous, welcome. Naikovanin Melonin. Aww. Oh, and that's what Adar was doing before. Yeah, Adar is definitely an elf. That feels like it would be more of a Telerin or Sylvan custom. Yavanna. He's talking about Yavanna. Oh, gosh. Just thinking the whole, let's hope they last the night. Speaking of, quotes from Helm's Deep. I really like the dynamic with Arondir and Bronwyn. Right. They really do take attention to the details of, like, fingernails and stuff. No one has clean fingernails here, except for perhaps, like, Miriel. And maybe Galadriel, but it depends on the setting for her. But yeah, I love that. I love the detail of the fingernails not being clean cut and stuff. I know, your heart, right? The impossible garden in the future, filled with Alfirin. Alfirin is Simbelmuna. They're the little white flowers that grew on the graves of the kings of Rohan. They show up several different places in the Legendarium, but that's the one you would probably most likely know. But Alfirin means unfading. Or undying. And there are the pinpricks of light. Oh, Zoe. Oh, I love the mix of sound. All the plucking. What's it called when stringed instruments pluck their strings? They're here. It's going down for real. I love that they're just like slowly trudging. These guys aren't very regimented. Gonna send the humans first to fight, isn't he? I wouldn't doubt it. But no, it looks like a mixture. Because the orcs are right there. Ooh, and the first bit doesn't work! I know, Allah the Shining. Here's Ada! Instead of Johnny. Just have the orc lighted on fire. Just shove the orc onto the pyre and you're good. There you go. Ooh, ooh. Neck shot immediately. No good. Well done, Bronwyn, though. And use the fire. There you go. I love that she's just like, I had to do it myself, didn't I? They're like, oh, they missed us! Thank you and come again. Yeah, basically trying to force a bottleneck. Especially when you have all the orcs huddled together like that, it's going to be a lot easier to pick them off. Because even if you don't have great aim, you should be able to hit something. Unfortunately, the orcs seem to have pretty good aim too, though. Oh, and there's their bitty little battering ram. Death toll 1-1. Fight for the Southlands, they said. Spears are a good idea. Keep them at a distance so that they don't just, you know, slice and dice you. Skipping a jig. Yeah, also the orcs have to look into the fire, yeah. Like, they're relatively used to fire, but the more light, the more uncomfortable they probably are, so... Yeah, a little tiny ground tooth, just the tooth. Hefty boy. Oh yeah, we saw this in the little preview scene that they gave us. Look at the capoeira moves here. It's so good. Look at the kick. Right there. Ah, it's so good. Tasty. Boom. I love the way they've incorporated capoeira into his style. Oh man, that hit hard. My back hurts. Hey, thank you so much, KK. Or JKK. Battle scene. Ouch! Oh man, the sound mix. Stabbing 2 parts of the leg and then sweeping it. Oh man. He's a big boy. You got him, Arondir. Ow! That's like 3 blows to his back thus far. That's pretty bad. Elves are resilient, but they're not invincible. I like that there's a struggle here. I like that the orcs are, oh wow, yikes. That's gnarly. Did he just pull out a thing that was stabbed into his eye? That's hardcore. But I like seeing there be a struggle here. Oh no, not the eyes though. No, no. Eye puncture is totally squicky for me. I don't like it. No! No! It's like in that Star Trek movie. No! Can't deal with it. Well done, Bronwyn. Thank you. Thank you for saving me from having to deal with the eye squick. Ugh, I'm sweating. I was like, no, not the eyes. Oh, that had me going there for a second. I hate things drilling into the eyes. They're soft and squishy. They don't do well with pointy stuff. No. Again, though, it couldn't have been all of them. It's just a small company that was sent after them, right? Because obviously Adar wasn't there. I know they're probably thinking, oh, he got caught under the tower. Everything's gonna be fine. It's never that easy. Orc blood probably does taste super rancid. I mean, you taste like what you eat, right? I'm figuring they don't eat well. Yeah, and they're seeing that it's not all black blood, that some of these are their own villagers. Yeah, that's gotta be sobering. Yeah, night's not ended yet. Yeah, it would make sense that many of those sent in first would be the humans. Just as a sick joke. There obviously were still orcs in the mix there, but there were a fair number of humans. Yeah. Yep, you were sadly right. Yeah, I wouldn't have put it past them, so that it does make sense. First hired, first, or last hired, first fired, right? Same concept. Oh no! Big guy down! Good timing there. Oh yeah, so many people are gonna die. That's a lot of arrows, Bronwyn. Oh dear. It didn't go to a vital organ. It was a shoulder wound. I mean, it's a bad shoulder wound, but not necessarily fatal here. Very close to nicking her aorta or her lung, though. That could be very bad. Internal bleeding, definitely a concern. Oh man, poor guys. Yeah, shoulder. It's more here. She'll be fine. Or she won't. You had to mention the starting a garden together thing. It's like one of you's doomed. Beyond help, girl. He gone. Oh. I mean, she's a healer. She probably has dealt with some of this stuff before. Oh, this is not going to be pleasant for her or for Theo. He has to break the arrow and then push it the rest of the way through. And then somehow stop the bleeding. Maybe cauterize it. I would not put it past them to cauterize. Oh, man, the sound mixing. I mean, well done, sound mixers, but yikes. So squicky. Yeah, she's gonna lose so much blood so quickly. Time to break out some of that elf magic, bruh. Gotta start doing the Lasto Bethnin Tola de Non Kalad. Yeah, cauterizing. Unpleasant business. No aesthetic. Sorry, no anesthetic. Poor Theo. Oh, poor Theo, he's gonna be so traumatized. Yeah, I mean, cauterizing anything, a lot of people would just pass out from shock. I think she's gonna breathe. I'm pretty sure she's gonna breathe. Oh, poor Theo, though. There she goes. Okay. I'm like, there's too much suspense here. If she were gone, it would be very clear. She gonna be hurting, though. Yeah, you thought it was over? And there he is. Okay. I'm still weirded out that his armor is basically Noldorin armor. Though we don't know if the design on it means the Elves of Lindon, the Havens of Sirion, or just the Noldor in general. But we see the design throughout Lindon. If Bronwyn survives, is she's gonna be the ancestor of Boromir? She could be. Potentially. Because you do have, people marrying into the line of kings. It's not 100% purely Númenorian blood. Oh man, those horses are so gorgeous. Look at that pretty white horse. orcs. Yeah. I was gonna say they're obviously cornered and gonna be held prisoner, and, you know, I don't know what Adar's demand is gonna be at this point, though. Oh, because she got hit by arrows. Nice. Okay, I see where you were going now. She was only hit by one, though. Boromir took 3. Yeah, ante. Ante is to give, so give it to me. What use do they have for you? No bueno. Was Theo actually watching? Does he actually know where it is? Or is he gonna pull some shit? Well, it sounds like he actually knows. And Arondir is, reacting like he knows. Yeah, okay. Theo definitely knows. Oh yeah, I'm sure with all the horses. Absolutely. If he says my father's craftsmanship, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it! Come on, come on. Is it Miglin? Ugh, of course the horses show up. Why you gotta ruin every opportunity for there to be more information about Adar? Dang it! Oh! His craftsmanship? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's way too much cavalry, man. They all got clotheslined. I love that. Well done. Clotheslining with horses. Very nicely done. As long as Beric makes it out alive, we're good. If that horse dies, it's the end. Ooh, yes, Galadriel. Those chains need more barbs, right? I would say, I can tell from his voice that's Ontimo. Orc was very unimaginative, just I know, right? Finally, Galadriel and Elrondír. Isildur's like, please don't hold me back. Here he comes to save the day. Woo! Yes. Yes to all of that. Well done, Halbrand. Not yet. Not yet. That'll happen later. Oh, and there he goes. And here goes Galadriel. Yeah, who is that? Theo's like, wow. She's so beautiful. She's so good. Chase scene, chase scene, chase scene. Adar's just like, cutting the losses, getting out of here. He got his sword hilt, it's all he really wanted. Oh man. The training that must have gone into learning just even basic horsemanship. Our first bit of Sindarin! She said Norolim. Means ride faster. I'm so happy there's Sindarin. There's been nothing but Quenya. I know, the writing form, exactly. Just so well done. Like, of course, we know they have doubles for the really hard stuff. But still. Yes. Oh, the poor horse. Oh, that poor horse. He's like, peace, I'm out. Are we gonna have a triangle with Halbrand? If he's Theo's father, we'll see. Does he bleed black? Does he bleed black? Oh, they know each other. He's like, wrong answer, bitch. I would say I wouldn't, you gotta question him, yeah. He did a large number of bad things, I would assume. Hi, Alana. The kitten has arrived. What's happening, kitten? Halbrand will get his chance. Oh, hi, kitten. Oh, I love you. Good girl, kitten bit. Oh. Come on, kitten. You're just all over me. Kite. This is Alana. Antamo's such a soft boy. He didn't want to do this. That's... Go on. Thank you. Moriandor, she says. Okay, so he is one of the old twisted elves. So it's not Myglin, most likely. Oh, I'm so glad they included that detail. Yes. In perfect order. Yes. That is exactly what Sauron was supposed to do. Yeah, so orcs do have souls in this series. Yeah, Sauron originally intended to heal the hurts that he'd done. Ooh, okay. Back to the photo, Dwight. Yeah, Sauron definitely didn't pull punches, that's for sure. I know, flashbacks. I mean, he might think he killed Sauron. Sauron is not so easily killed, though. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad they're making this complicated, because it deserves that. There's always a level of complication with any origin story for the orcs, but this is one that it gives you pause, even as a scholar. Because it should make you uncomfortable. If the orcs have souls and they were created by the One, originally, then how can you justify killing them all so thoughtlessly? Dude, cold, Galadriel. And this should make us uncomfortable with Galadriel as a character. Transformed by darkness. Yes, thank you, Adar. Burn! that got dark fast, yeah. He does bleed black, though. He bleeds black, but he can withstand the sunlight. So yeah, probably not Myglin. But they're going with the Twisted Elves origin for the orcs. So it makes sense that there would be older, twisted but not yet deformed orcs. The Uruk. I don't mind this. It's taking one specific origin story and running with it, but I'm okay with that. Way too easy to kill orcs en masse in the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogies. So this makes things a little more complicated. The cost of war is paid on both sides. I'll say easier said than done, just be free of it. That's good. He felt purpose. It's not necessarily the fight that he wants to cling to, though. It should just be the doing what you felt was right. I think that sense of righteous purpose is what they're both after. Though I'm sure the adrenaline from an actual battle works wonders. But that adrenaline can get addictive and it can cause bad things, so we'll see. Galadriel is like riding that razor's edge of just going too far and becoming too like the enemy. So I guess they did recover the dark sword. Everyone deserves a nice feast after that. Good to see Bronwyn up and walking. Oh, Muriel is so gorgeous. Cynthia Dye Robinson is just so gorgeous. Feel some romantic tension. No, like it can be viewed through that lens for sure. Oh, listen to that music. There's tension. He looked at her and felt something. If the music is any indication. We'll see. I'm so glad to see all the characters meeting each other. So, not happening with the multiple timelines idea. That's obviously debunked now. It was a fun theory while it lasted. Theo's not feeling great. Theo has been traumatized. He did well, but dang. Poor kid. Oh, you think he sent the sword off? That's possible. Powerful? Mm-hmm. If he doesn't look in that bundle, we don't know for sure if that's it. Okay, he's looking. I don't think that's it. Yeah, that ain't it. Oh, like it's an actual key. Like I see that slit in the ground down there. Oh, damn. That's not good. Okay. Oh, yikes. Oh, wow. Is this entire place going to be underwater now? Is it going to free Sauron? Maybe. Beric's like, no, you don't get it. It's coming for you. Beric knows best. Oh, they're speaking Sindarin for once. Beric is his horse now. He knows yours. Oh, sad eye, Isildur. Yay, father-son bonding. Bonding moment. We needed one of those. Isildur has earned one of those. That's nice. I appreciate that. I want to say it's not going to last long, though. Yeah, this is not good. This is very not good. Oh man, we're too close to the end of this episode. Udun. Through all of those caves that they had delved. Oh, they're making a Roduin, like, explodey. Now I get it. Okay. That'll do it. Yeah, that would definitely do it. Shit ton of cold water directly into the heart of a volcano? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, he coming. You see Muriel like, shit. Yeah, explodey. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Liquid hot magma. Take shelter where, bitch? Ooh. Raining devastation and radiation. Okay, there's that shot that we saw from all the promo. No bueno. Yeah. I'm like, I will not be surprised if that is the end of the episode. Yeah, it's basically Pompeii. Good lord. Oh, and there's immediately a preview, so I'm just gonna let that play. Let's see what the preview does. Alright, we get some Durin, we get some Elrond, we get some Harfoots. Galadriel lives, we knew that because I was gonna say we were gonna get that red soot-covered shot of hers. Okay. Alright. Well, that is it for this time. Oop. Hold up. No. Stop. My player just keeps on playing. I'm like, stop it! No! There. Like, close the window. Goodness me. Alright, and timer done. Holy cow, okay. I'm not surprised that it was entirely focused on this one section, because if it had jumped around to the Harfoots, that would have completely ruined the pacing. So I'm not at all surprised by that. The previous episode, episode 5, left off at a pretty good point with, the elves of Lindon, Elrond and Durin going back to try and convince Durin III to let them mine the Mithril, blah blah blah. So I'm not surprised that they skipped all of that and just brought Numenor to the Southlands and went with that jazz. Helm's Deep and ended with Pompeii, right? That episode gave. I'm not surprised by that. I'm glad that it was not as simple as it first seemed. I'm like, it's gotta be more than just, yay, we defeated the orcs, woo! I'm like, it's not gonna be that easy. Udun, that makes sense. That they were delving all of these passageways for the water, knowing, and Adar would have known that this is a key to, unlock the depths of the mountain. Meaning all that cold water is just gonna go straight into the core of the volcano and kaboom. React to the exploding volcano, maybe the stranger will remember more. Maybe. That's possible. Yeah, I wouldn't be bothered by that. That would tie things together a little bit. And I mean, they're very far apart. Orodruin is so far away from the Misty Mountains, like there's a good amount of space in between the two. But if anyone was going to hear some of this happening through the stones, it would be Disa. With her ability to do the whole resonance thing, listening to the mountains. And certainly, I mean, there is a Balrog in the depths of Moria, or Khazad-dûm, but it's still very much asleep. Like, they have not delved nearly deep enough to wake it up yet. But I wonder if maybe it stirs a little bit, if it rumbles a little bit, if it stretches and yawns at the whole, Orodruin exploding. And maybe there's just some sort of echo or tremor that happens that Disa's able to pick up on. I think that would be an interesting way of, the other people's knowing something big just happened, even if they don't know exactly what it was. But the Harfoots are past the Dagorlad. They're on that northern mountain range of Mordor. They're on the other side of it. They're on the northern side of that mountain range. So, I mean, with how big this eruption was, they could very well at least see a plume. A plume of smoke and all of the debris and the noxious gas that's released from a volcanic eruption. I think that it's reasonable to say that they would see it. I don't know that they would feel it, but they would certainly see it. Okay, sorry, I'm looking back at chat now. Womp, womp. Yeah, the key being old and in the tower, yeah. That was made by the men who originally followed Sauron / Morgoth back in the day. That's probably hundreds of years old. But always with the plan of destroying the Southlands. Because yeah, it makes sense that they would put this stuff in place, and eventually when the signal is given, with the mark of Sauron that is the map, it would make sense for them to have this plan of making, the Southlands into the next fortress, into the next Udun. So all of them knew that this plan had a name, and it was Udun. They're gonna make their new hell on Earth, and then that basically, would destroy a lot of the living matter in that entire area. That's how you end up with the Gorgoroth. Huge areas of Mithril revealed when the Fellowship came through, so it should be a while till they get to the Balrog. Yes, correct. Because they only start delving too deep when we're already in the Third Age, so that's quite a ways off. That's thousands of years away. Even with a condensed timeline, that's still thousands of years away. Yeah, we did see that Adar did escape there, because he was not in that place when it went up in smoke. Something hidden under the water of the dam? Quite possibly. I think the Harfoots could certainly see and maybe feel some of the effects of a big eruption. Modern big volcanic eruptions can spread ash all over the globe. Exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm like, dude, a plume, definitely within the realm of possibility. And when something like that, when something catastrophic like that happens, depending on how many of the other mountains within that northern range, depending how many of those are connected in one way or another along whatever tectonic plate fault there is, right? When you have one big eruption along a tectonic plate, anything else that's along that line could also very well erupt. It could just be a trigger chain reaction, so you could end up with more eruptions happening in other mountains that are, you know, active volcanoes. Or even inactive volcanoes that get triggered. Hashtag triggered. Curious about the use of black speech in the show, especially now that Adar claims to have betrayed Sauron. Why the use of the language of the oppressor? I don't know. Oh, excuse me. I'm not sure on that. I mean, part of it is just going to be for simplicity, because you're not going to make an entirely new dialect of black speech for the show. Probably not. Like, I know they got linguists and stuff on deck, but that's a lot of extra work. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, Lord Bunnybone, that Adar wanted to explode the volcano to cause the black clouds to cover the entire Southlands, and that's what enables the orcs to move around so freely. That's why Orodruin is always active in the Third Age, because it's the explosions and the black clouds that enable the orcs to just continuously work and thrive in Mordor. That's why it's called Mordor. Yeah, the Ring of Fire! Mount Wanahakalugi. Hi, Gray. Gray's back. Gray? Come here. He's like, no, I don't wanna. I don't wanna be on camera. They just get my tail. Gray? What? What? Trying to poke him to come over. Yeah, come here. Yeah, come here. Come here. He's like, no, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Uh-huh, you're fine. Nope. 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 Mm-hmm. What? Sorry, I can't help it with Gray. He complains, and it's super cute. I love you. I know you want my love and attention. You just don't want me to be streaming when you get it. Oh, you should see the glare that he's giving me right now. He's like, you mock me. So the volcanic eruption wasn't the original plan of the sword in your mind. Yeah, they have official Mount Doom. Now, Orodruin is basically Mountain of Red Flame. That's what the name means in Sindarin. So, like, it was already... And it's named that on the maps that we've already seen. And all of the people in that area call it Orodruin. So... It was already known to be a volcano, but yeah, it's not called Amun Amarth until later. So we might have just seen the birth of Amun Amarth. Amun Amarth. Gray. Angry eyebrows, basically. He just wants to be fed. Because that was the automatic feeder just went off. Immediately run, chomp. Such a greedy boy, Gray. Pretty sure Sauron invented it. I think the water was just Adar's purpose, not the original reason for the sword. I'm not sure. I mean, that looked like it was planned. That looked like, you know, obviously the water flow is what this does. They built a dam that had a key in it. They built a dam that had a key in it, and this sword is the key. So they knew that by turning that key, it would unclog the dam, essentially. And I think that with all of the tunnels and everything, it makes sense that they would know that that would cause an eruption. I think that logically it makes sense for them to know this and pursue it. Especially because Adar wanted this to be a new home for the orcs. Best way to do that? Cover the land in darkness. Literally. Because it would allow for the orcs to move around more freely. And Adar, in a previous episode, said, like, he was just like, I wish that you could experience the sun like I do. And he said, you know, I'm gonna have to bid it farewell soon enough. He's like, and I will miss it. So Adar knew. Adar knew that he was going to make this volcano explode and basically blot out the sun in this area. Because he was already grieving the loss of the sun. So I think that he knew. I think that he knew. I think that was the whole point. Under the water is the base of Barad-dûr. It's in the wrong spot. Wrong spot on the map. This is southwestern of Barad-dûr. Southwestern of Orodruin. My bad. And I'm gonna double check. Let me bring this up. We're gonna switch the scene and bring this up. Because I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Okay. Let's look it up. We gonna look it up. Map of Mordor. Sure, that'll do. Okay. Yeah. So the place that we are in the Southlands right now is about here. It's where Cirthongol ends up being. So these rivers and stuff that we were seeing, they were going through this plateau of Gorgoroth. And so, yeah. Here's Mount Doom. Barad-dûr is further. It's north and east of that. And I mean, this area here is known as Udun, so that name does carry over. But no, they're in this area near the Morgai. Yeah, bring out the maps. This is why I'm here. This is why we do these live streams. Actually, let me turn the music back on. Doop, doop. There we go. It's not very loud. But yeah. So we're more in this area, this sort of crossroads area, and maybe even further south than that. But on the maps that we've seen that have the labels for Tir Harad and Ostirith and stuff like that, it's all in this lower area here. So to them, Orodruin is north and probably a little bit east. But Barad-dûr is even more north and more east from them. You thought you had a genius revelation. I mean, I hate to prove you wrong, but... but there you go. No, Barad-dûr Not yet. Not yet. That happens later. The construction of Barad-dûr does happen in the Second Age, but it completes in the year 1650? Almost positive. Let's look it up. Again, this is why we're here. Barad-dûr. We'll do Cloaking Gateway. Barad-dûr. Second Age 1000 is when it started construction, but I don't believe it finishes until 1600. The first building. SA 1000, yeah, around SA 1600, he secretly forged the One Ring. Yeah, and completed his fortress after 600 years in the construction with the power of the ring. Yeah. So if Barad-dûr is already a thing, because with the way that they've compressed this timeline, Barad-dûr should already be a thing. It should have at least been started. But the forging of the One Ring happens in Mount Doom, and obviously that's not happening right now, because we haven't gotten to the point where Sauron is Anatar and dealing with the elves. Because he only starts making the One Ring after the other 19 rings have been made, or at least 16 of the 19 have been made. Then he leaves, and while he's gone, the 3 elven rings are made. So hopefully that clears things up a little bit. So yeah, SA 1000 to 1600 is the making of Barad-dûr. And then Mount Doom. Rodrin / Amon Amarth. Those are the 2 Sindarin names for the mountain. We do know that it happens, another eruption happens later. Because this says, the mountain erupted in Second Age 3429, signaling Sauron's attack to Gondor, and it took the name Amon Amarth. So that's when it starts being called Mount Doom. We aren't at that point yet, because Gondor and Arnor haven't even been established yet, because that happens after the fall of Numenor. So, like, unless they are really fucking around with the timeline, which I don't think they're gonna do quite yet, I don't think it's time for that particular eruption to happen. I think that'll be later. But yeah, let's see. It says, when Sauron chose the land of Mordor as his dwelling place in the Second Age, Orodruin was the reason for his choice. He, quote, used the fire that welled there from the heart of the earth in his sorceries and his forging. The most famous result of his forging, and in fact the only one that we know of for sure, was the One Ring. So, there's a little background info for you. We did have some fun Elvish in this episode as well. Let me switch back to the other... So yeah, we had some good Elvish in this episode. Several lines of Quenya, so I will definitely take note of those, put down the time codes for them, and ask my friends who know Quenya. But we did get our first couple little lines of Sindarin, which made me very, very happy. Of course, it was spoken by Elendil, but still, very happy about that. Poor Halbrand, I know, right? So close to the path Frodo and Sam took. Up the stairs. Yeah, that's Cirithungol, yeah. It's where Shelob is. It's where the big spider is. Does all this mean that the Uruk that were with Dadar, were just a scouting party to blot out the sun before the rest of the army moved in? Possibly. Very possibly. And I mean, Sauron is cunning. Sauron is cunning, and so if this guy thought that he defeated Sauron, if he was telling the truth, which is a big ask, but if he was actually telling Galadriel the truth and he's like, I killed Sauron, I mean, not only does she know better because Maiar can't be killed like that, and And you would think that Adar himself would know better than that. So I'm not buying it, but giving him the benefit of the doubt, if he actually believed that he had defeated Sauron, then he was just doing this, for lack of a better phrase, out of the goodness of his heart. He wanted to give himself and the orcs that he actually legit cares about, a home. He wanted them to have a home. And that's why he's just like, we serve no master. We are free Uruk, and we deserve to have a space of our own. So, I mean, like, even if he wasn't doing anything consciously on behalf of the Dark Lord, that's what Sauron does, is manipulate people to do the things that he doesn't have the time or energy to do himself. So, whether Adar believes Sauron is gone or not, he's obviously being manipulated by Sauron. One way or the other. Poor Halbrand. I know, he got to be a lord for like 5 minutes. Yep, and now he's a king. Miriel's father was right that only darkness awaited her. I mean, yeah, with an eruption of Orodruin, absolutely. Volcanoes and volcanic clouds can build enough static electricity to make lightning. Yeah, the very dramatic lightning also makes sense. I didn't put that together, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, finally got some Sindarin. Thank fucking God. I love Quenya. I do love Quenya. It's a beautiful language. I don't speak it. And so, like, part of my excitement for the series was being like, I can translate Elvish. I can do it in real time for the first time ever. And then we get nothing but Quenya, and I'm like, I don't speak Quenya. So, I'm excited to have hints of Sindarin, other than location names. Hi, Gray. Did you get your food and now you want cuddles? Is that how this works? He's like, human. Monkey. Serve me, monkey. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Gray, sir. Hi. Are you just gonna sit there and wait for me to not be live anymore? Mm-hmm. He's just gonna block my entire computer screen so I can't see shit. Move it, Gray. Okay. He's gonna sit down and just settle. Love you. Silly kitty. Hi. Get your cook. You got cook. Good boy. Thank you. Alright, let's see, what else did I miss in chat? Halbrand Bronwyn theory is gone. In addition to that, Halbrand isn't the real owner of the Lord Pendant. That's possible. That's a theory I could buy into, for sure. His reaction makes you doubt him. Yeah, I mean, his reaction to Bronwyn was one thing, so obviously they haven't met before because there would have been recognition in Bronwyn's eyes if this was, the father of her child. But I'm also of a mind that we don't know who Theo's dad is. Bronwyn could have conceived Theo from Arondir, and we just don't know for sure. We've not seen Theo's ears. Do we have another Perithel? I don't know. I'm waiting to see the guy's ears. I will laugh my ass off if Theo is a half-elf. Because that would that would be a departure from canon, which I don't really care about. I know that they're gonna be taking steps away from canon. I'm okay with that. But I will be really amused if they tossed in a mixed race, mixed breed half-elf. Fuck yeah. Like, part of me loves it and part of me is like, oh man, it's so against canon though. You hope Halbrand is good? So far, Halbrand seems good. I think the whole point, though, is to set him up as being a genuinely good guy despite whatever bad things he did in the past. But as with most characters, it's going to be the slow decline into darkness. I think we already saw bits of Galadriel doing that. Galadriel has a lot to learn. But I like that. I like there being character arcs, so I wouldn't be bothered by that. Adar is a free elf. Master's given Adar a sock. Adar is free. Oh, man. Do I think the fall of the Númenóreans was going to happen no matter what? Yes. It was only a matter of time. Even in the Legendarium, like, just the struggle of mortality. And you know, the moment you introduced that some people had a choice, that the half-elves had a choice, whether being counted amongst the mortal or immortal halves of the children of Iluvatar, the moment you introduced that some people had a choice, you are opening the door to, well, I don't have a choice, and that's fucking bullshit. Like, that seems a logical conundrum and a very human conflict to have when you are surrounded by things that are ageless, and when your entire culture has been influenced by, you know, peoples and language and culture and gods that are ageless, but you yourself are not. There is a struggle there for wanting what you cannot have. And no one can give them a good reason why mortal men are given the gift of death. Like, how do you tell them, well, it's a gift? Okay, but, like, how is it a gift? Like, what do I have to look forward to after death? How does death do me any favors? And even the gods can't answer that, because they don't know. The purpose behind giving men the gift of death is known to Eru alone. And so there's always going to be this struggle of, you know, well, you say it's a gift, what do you mean? And when no one can provide an answer there's going to be a power struggle. Well, I don't want this. It's not a gift. A gift would be immortality like the elves have. Why can't we have that? So I think the fall of Númenor is based in that very human conflict, the reconciliation of mortality. And the fighting against mortality is what leads to the downfall of Númenor. So I think it was very much always going to happen at some point. Real question is, could they have been saved? Again, I think it was inevitable, but that's just personal opinion. Could they potentially have been saved in the narrative? Yes. But we had, by the time Númenor actually falls, we have several things working at the same time to bring it down. You have the interior struggle of the men themselves, but then you also have Morgoth, Sauron. You have Sauron actively trying to exacerbate everything and make sure that Númenor falls. He's the one who really is a catalyst to the whole thing. Now, could it have been prevented? Yes. But it would have involved not bringing Sauron to Númenor, number one, or Pharazôn not being so swayed by him. The sheer fact that Sauron goes from prisoner to, like, High Vizier in, like, 3 years tells you something about Pharazôn's state of mind. So, I think it could have been prevented, but there were too many things in play working against Númenor. Personal opinion. Theo is, Rondir's child. Yeah, he's trying to step into the dad role. He really is. That's why I'm like, I'm not ruling that out. I'm not ruling that out until we see for sure that Theo has normal ears. And we have decidedly not been given that. Galadriel and Adar's conversation, yes. She's on a genocidal path against soul-bearing orcs. Yeah, and it should make us uncomfortable. It should give us pause. It's one of the ongoing debates in scholarly circles, the origin story of the orcs and what that means, because Tolkien himself oscillated on what he wanted the origin story of orcs to be because of that moral conundrum. You can't just kill mindlessly when these are beings with souls. It adds another layer of moral grayness that Tolkien himself was uncomfortable with. and probably because it mirrors too much of real life and real society, where we demonize and other a population so extremely that we make them out to be inhumane and therefore justifiably killing them, right? That it is a righteous and goodly act to destroy them. So yeah, it should make us uncomfortable. Yeah, orcs being sympathetic, they're just seeking a home. They aren't just cannon fodder whose death we all celebrate, right? I think humans have a different view of life that is the other side of mortality. Like a candle burned at two ends. Beautiful and remembered, but fleeting. Exactly. Appease the YouTube gods. Boop. Boop the like button. Yes, if anybody is still around and you're enjoying the conversation, or found that my reactions were amusing, please boop the like button. Give it a boop. Give it a gentle little boop so that it changes colors. Get that little tiny burst of serotonin. Or dopamine. Knowing that you booped the snoot. Tolkien was changing it later on because his religious beliefs that any living human has a soul and a way to redemption. Exactly. It's why he oscillated on it. Because if he gave them souls, it meant he had to rework some shit. And yeah, you know, this is something that fanfiction authors have been playing around with for a long time. That's why orc fanfiction actually exists. Because there was that oscillation in the story behind the orcs. And if they were originally elves, then how can we justify this mass genocide of the orcs? So yeah. I like that they're taking that approach because it allows us to give the orcs more culture, which we've already seen hints of, and I really, really like that. I like creating more nuanced, three-dimensional bad guys. You know, make a landscape that makes us as the viewer a little bit uncomfortable. You know, make sure that our main heroes aren't completely 100% righteous. Give us some shades of gray here. I think it's really good for Tolkien's world to be viewed that way. But, I mean, I'm also, you know, the person who's literally hashtag simping for Sauron, so, I mean, am I the best person to use an example here? Nah. I've been a Sauron and Morgoth stan for a very long time, for years and years now. Because I liked the complexity that they were given as bad guys. It wasn't that Morgoth, Melkor, as he was originally called, it wasn't that Melkor sang evil into the song, into the theme, you know, the great musical theme that the world was created on. He didn't sing evil. He sang discord. He sang his own theme that was just discordant with the rest. It wasn't that what he was singing was inherently wrong or evil. It was that it wasn't aligned to the theme that Eru had given all the others to sing. So, Melkor is not evil, he is contrary. And the vilification of being contrary is something that we see in a lot of religions. Yeah, I'm totally a Sauron fanboy. Absolutely 100% unashamed. I am unabashedly a simp for Sauron. But this is what I like about the entire story of the origin of Morgoth and Sauron. They made a choice, and it wasn't necessarily that choice was evil in spirit, it was independent. It was nonconformist. And I'm like, yeah! Stick it to the man! Melkor is like a glam rocker, basically. Melkor is Bart Simpson. Oh, man. I mean, kinda? I actually haven't watched a lot of The Simpsons, so I wouldn't understand the full nuance there. If there is nuance there. because I'm just not super familiar with Bart as a three-dimensional character. I know who the guy is, but I've never watched The Simpsons. I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of The Simpsons, which is bonkers considering how many seasons there are of it. But no, I like there being more than meets the eye. I like that they're giving some time and energy to building the backstory and the depth of the bad guys. I always wanted that. Melkor equals Ziggy Stardust. No, Galadriel called Adar a Morionen, or Morionian. Mor plus Eon. So it's the Sons of Darkness. Morion. Morion. The Morion. As the hobbits are contrary to the lives of men and elves and their life purpose, does that mean Morgoth sang them into existence and that's why Gandalf finds solace in their goodness? I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole. We don't know the origin of the hobbits. We don't know why they're there. But it's always a fun thing to go into the theme of other, the alterity within Tolkien's world. The othering of the hobbits, calling them queer, not necessarily meaning, LGBTQ queer, because that's not how the word was used back then, but, Bag End is a queer place and its folk are queerer. They meant that they are nonconformist, that they are not normal, whatever that standard of normal happens to be. That those particular hobbits were against the grain, if you will. But that theme is then, like you said, echoed. It's echoed in, Morgoth and Sauron. It's echoed in the Balrogs being Maiar, just like the Istari. So Balrogs are the same, relatively, the same level of divine being as the wizards are. So I like there being complexity there. It makes me happy. Another non-Tolkien series that you read, elves are heartbroken, with elves being twisted and morphed into dark creatures. They find out of necessity? Oh, but they cry after every time because they're kin. Right. Yeah, they go on adventures, yeah. Only certain hobbits go on adventures, and they're very much looked down upon for it. But that's the whole theme of the other within Tolkien's world. I have an entire book called Tolkien and Alterity. All A-L-T. Alterity is the othering of a group of people. Otherness. But it's a series of scholarly essays that were compiled to sort of address the othering of various characters and various peoples in Middle-earth, and just the entire theme and how it can connect to populations that are othered in our own society. So, racial disparities, sexual identity and gender politic, that sort of stuff too. Oh, bedtime chaos. Go take care of your chillins. Thank you so much for being here, Zoe. I appreciate you modding. I want to say goodnight to Zoe. Give her hearts in chat. But yeah. So alterity is an ongoing theme throughout the Legendarium, and I think it's really fun to examine it. I have been working on some blog posts for my website, so if anyone wants to check out my website, elfboy.com is right here. I have several different blogs over there. And I mean, I really need to just devote some time to writing up some blog posts and keeping that shit going. I get too distracted by too many different things to ever put all of my effort into one thing, and it then tends to derail me on all of the things. Autism, ADHD, all that shit. But yeah, so I do have some posts that I am trying to compile, but, you know, I'm trying to be quasi-scholarly about it, you know, include a bunch of quotes and explain why I view things the way I do, and what viewing a character through a queer lens looks like. Because not everybody is going to see it my way, and so that's fine, and that's why I make the posts, so that people can hopefully expand their view and maybe consider things from a different POV. I think it's good for all of us to do that, and that's why having conversations with a bunch of different people looking at the same content can be really, really fun. That's why I like having so much diversity on Tolkien Talk. It's important. It's important to have different views and different lived experiences so that we come at it from a different perspective and then can share what we feel and what it means to us. Ah, working on your PhD. Yeah, distracted by so many different things. It's totally frustrating. It really, really is. Yeah, you guys can't see it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 reference books on my desk right now. I pushed them all to a corner, but they're there. and several of those I am actively using to make my blog posts. And that's just talking about Celebrimbor being potentially a bisexual icon in the making. We aren't going to see it this season, but maybe in season 2 or season 3. We can hope. But I think we're going to call it quits. It is now 10:30. I definitely am turning into a pumpkin. I'm super tired. So I don't feel the need to do anything immediately. I'm not going to do an all-nighter. I've been trying to move away from doing the whole, I'm going to do an all-nighter. Nah. I'm too tired for that shit. That and just the grief with Sandra and everything. I do not need to be doing all-nighters. It will put me in a really terrible state of mind, and it will probably cause me to have headaches on days that are already going to be difficult emotionally. So we're not going to do that to myself. Yeah, gonna go get some sleep. It's only 10:30. I'll probably be up for another hour and a half. I'll probably decompress for like half an hour or so, watch an episode of Kim's Convenience, maybe. Then I'll do my skincare and read for a little bit and go to bed. That's been my nighttime routine lately, and it's been lovely. But yeah, tomorrow is the death anniversary, so I'm gonna take things slow and just see how I'm doing. I had a really terrible day already about a week ago, and that did me a lot of good. Like, I call it a terrible day in so much as just I wasn't able to do anything. Very, very little got done, and it was just because I was an emotional wreck. Just on and off crying all day long, went to bed super early because my eyes had puffed up so badly from all the crying that I could barely see. It was bad. So I had that, and that let so much out that I've been on much more of an even keel the last few days. I'll take it. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate all the support, and I promise that I am very well supported. I do have therapy once a week, and that really helps me too. So yeah, I have friends, I have family, I have lots of support, and y'all have been amazing, just being this wonderful online community surrounding me with love. So I know you guys understand, and it brings me a lot of comfort, so thank you for being part of that with me. But she here. She's always here. Every episode, she's right here with me. She's right on the desk with me. We're sharing it together. She would be so excited that there was Cinderin in this episode. We're such geeks. But yeah, we're gonna relax, and I will plan on doing a calligraphy stream, if not tomorrow, just depending on how I'm feeling. If not tomorrow, then certainly the next day. I've been wanting to do another calligraphy stream. And we'll see if maybe I'll do, I'll say, again, depending on how I'm feeling, I might do an ASMR stream soon too. I think that would be really nice to do. just bring out all of my stuff with my binaural mic and give y'all some like really tingly, relaxing feels. I'll probably end up starting to do that every Thursday once these episodes are gone. Give me a few weeks. I do have top surgery coming up too, though, so I'm gonna have to pace myself. With Adar revealed not to be Sauron, do we still think Mystery Man is maybe Gandalf? The stranger, you mean? Because you still hope he's not? I still hope he's not, too. I don't want it to be that obvious. Just like I didn't want Adar to be obvious. I didn't want him to just be Sauron. That seemed like way too early of a reveal and too simple of a reveal. Yeah, whenever I'm good and rested, yeah, I have to be in a very specific state of mind in order to do ASMR, which is why it hasn't happened lately. Certainly not in the month of September. September's just a really tough month for me. But perhaps sometime in October I'd like to do a few ASMR streams, just to get back into the hang of it. And then November's mostly going to be prepping for surgery, having surgery, and recovering from surgery. But we'll probably do more throughout the holidays, so stay tuned for that stuff. But I love you guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so you'll get notified. Turn on the little bell. All YouTube words. So that you know when I go live again. But I will be doing this again next week, so Thursday evening starting 8 p.m. Pacific, or 11 p.m. Eastern US time. So I will see you guys next week, and over the next couple days, keep me in your thoughts. I appreciate all of the love, and I will do a calligraphy stream soon. So everyone, please take care. I love you guys. Everyone have a good night. All the hearts. I love you guys so much. Bye!